Give me a beat. Give me a beat. Nah, I ain't got no beats. No beats. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another week of the Multiverse Podcast. I am Bad Ty Bricks here with Tyrone Thornhill, Mini Baby Grogu, and Holly Noon is unfortunately not with us today, but she will be returning next week. So we have a lot to talk about this week. We have House of the Dragon, as we do every week on the docket. So we're super excited to talk about that. So we will definitely be getting into the breakdown of House of the Dragon episode 3. Also on the docket, guys, there has been some bad things going on. We got to talk about it. Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears are in the news and not for a good thing, guys. Some jokes just aren't funny. So we have that, and then we also will round out the show with our favorite host, Mini Sports, and we will be tapping into the NFL. But before we do that, we have to do what we do every week, guys, and that is welcome you to the multiverse.
What do you know about the multiverse?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining
What
us
up?
again. Welcome to the Multiverse Podcast. I am your host, Bad Ty Bricks, again here with Tyrone Thornhill and Mini Baby Grogu. And we are excited to be here another week. Guys, it looks a little, I know it looks different. We are missing the queen, Miss Holly Noon herself, but we are going to hold it down in her stead. But we got a lot to talk about this week. But before we get into that, Minnie, you look excited today, man. Extra excited today. I don't know if it's just all of those Bengal pops or whatever they called in the background, just rooting you on constantly. But what's going on with you, brother?
Man, it's a great day. It's Comic Book Wednesday. I done filled up on some comics today, so I feel great. It's the start of NFL season this week. So ain't it? I mean, I can't. It's just football's in the air, man. I just feel great. You know what I'm saying? I feel good. Feel good.
That's a good place to be. That's definitely a good place to be, man. Tyrone, are you as excited as many is about comic books? No.
Uh, I read plenty of them.
Yes.
But the way Minnie collects comic books is I think might officially be a fire hazard. But that's I don't know what to say about that. No, that's cool. You have quite a collection, man. Respect.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
I
definitely
appreciate it.
like that.
I
And
appreciate it.
Amy's right. I think Minnie might have got a new ring light or something. You're over there looking like you're about to take some good pictures or something, or
Yeah, man. You Many got
yeah.
that last dragon Bruce Leroy glow. You know what I'm saying? Like, kiss my converse, sucker. So listen, man. As I stated before, we do this every week, and we probably will continue to do this every week as long as the success of the show continues to thrive. But we have House of the Dragon episode 3 breakdown. Tyrone, I want to before I even get into this, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about where you're at when it when
Mhm.
it when it comes to House of the Dragon, because we know initially you were a little, reluctant. You had some reluctance because of how Game of Thrones ended, and we understand, rightfully so. But now we are in the third episode. Where Let me check your temperature. How are you feeling?
Uh, I would say warm. Going in, I was like, let me, I feel like getting to episode 3 or 4, really is gonna, show me where the show's going, and we're gonna see what's up. Um, I do think that this was in parts a strong episode, and some stuff developed really well. While, like, on the other hand, and we'll get into it. While on the other hand, some things just kind of like fell off completely, and had me questioning why they would make the moves that they made. So I'm still, still watching and enjoying, as far as just like enjoying the experience and stuff. But you know, I'm I'm interested to see how this first season is going to go. Like, I don't know if didn't it already get renewed for a season 2?
Yes,
because
already.
the way they're going, it's like they don't expect
Eh.
another season. They're just like everything's it. You know what I mean? I'm like, shit, all right, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we'll get into the details, but so far I would say temperature still warm, enjoying it, watching it, but got some questions.
Cool. Now listen, Minnie, I know that you are still in the process of catching up on the original Game of Thrones.
Right.
But are you all caught up on House of the Dragon right now?
Oh, of course, man. That's right now. That's my show. I got a couple shows that I'm watching, but definitely House of the Dragon is my number one show because I'm just enjoying the ride. I didn't, like I said beforehand, watch before. I never watched the original Game of Thrones, so this House of the Dragon to me is like my first introduction. So I'm just chilling, loving it. I'm just like a little kid with my popcorn every Wednesday getting down because I don't know what's coming. I really don't know what's coming. I don't see things coming like other people. I don't expect anything out of anything. Like I don't. If the one thing that I will say, like I did expect sooner or later to be more dragons up in here, and they finally gave me a little bit more of what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Because it's House of the Dragons now. You feel me? Yeah, and not House of the Drama. You know what I'm saying? I need some dragons in here.
So you need it. So I mean, we're in third episode. We've had three
Yeah,
dragons. We've had a dragon
yeah,
per episode, and
yeah.
you need more dragons.
I need battle. You say I need to see them in battle. That's what I'm talking about. I need to see. So this episode suffice for me. I got to see a little real, flame throwing, whooping the dragons out there. That's what I wanted.
Okay, so you wanted to see the dragons eat people, throw them through the air, set them on
Yes,
fire,
sir.
anything like that.
Yes, sir. What you have a dragon for?
Hey, I agree with you, man. Now this episode started off kind of weird, Tyrone. We left last week thinking we would get next week.
Mm.
But instead we got 3 years later.
Yeah,
This this we went to bed on Monday and woke up 3 years later.
yeah.
So this is this a little awkward? Is this out of the ordinary for the Game of Thrones franchise? Should we be confused as we seem?
Uh, it was jarring. Like I would say, like when I first got into it, I was like, "Who's this kid?" And I was kind of like, it took me a second to be like, "Okay, I see what's going on here." Yeah, jumping 3 years, just as we're starting to get to know people and we're starting to establish storylines and see that develop was an interesting choice. I don't know if it's a choice I would have made. I might have stayed, kind of developing things a little bit longer. There's still a lot of stuff going on that we just sort of like for 3 years. I guess Rhaenyra has just been salty because nothing else has happened with Rhaenyra. You know what I mean? She's just been salty. There've been some kids or whatever, but mostly like nothing has happened in King's Landing for 3 years, and you're just like, okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, so it was interesting to see them jump so far. Even though I still think Viserys and Rhaenyra, I'm still getting used to names, but Viserys and Rhaenyra are. I think their relationship, their dynamic is starting to become the strength of the show. But even still, yeah, it's like we missed out on a bunch, in my opinion.
We definitely missed out on a bunch. One of the things that you mentioned earlier was who is this kid? This 3-year-old who looks like he's very healthy, eating very good,
Mm-hmm.
is Aegon
Mm-hmm.
Targaryen, the future heir to the throne, at least assumed heir of the throne, by his birth as a young boy. But one of the things that we also notice is not only do we have Aegon, but Alicent is also pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So she's also carrying another child who could possibly turn out to be a boy. So that will be an interesting turn of events to kind of keep an eye on moving forward as well. Um, I think also what we noticed, and I noticed this immediately, was, although this was 3 years in the future that they kind of moved forward, is it me or does King Viserys look like he aged about 10 to 15 years in that 3 year period? I mean, he's losing hair. I mean, he's like he looks elderly, he's moving slower. Uh Minnie, did you pick up on that? Did you notice that King Viserys, although is 3 years ahead and has a small toddler boy and another child on the way, looks like he's not going he's looking like he's not going to make it much longer. What's going on?
Man, I think that thing is eating him. That whatever that is that he had caught in 3 years prior when he was sitting on the throne, and now he got gangrene or whatever that is. I think it's eating him alive. That boy, he's diseased with an alcohol problem. That man got a lot of issues right now going on in his life. But yeah, he does look way older than everybody else within that 3 years span. Even not even the woman who got pregnant twice looks like she aged more than him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. That she still look like she's 16, 17, and he looking like 85. Like, he out there way gone. And props to him though. That man got a strong liver, man. That man drank the whole episode, bro. He really he drank the whole, and he did not throw up. He didn't pass out, nothing. He a soldier.
Hey, man. When you've been drinking as long as he's been drinking, man, that's what it is, man. Maybe he's got some of that gamma blood up in his system. So you never know. Now, also, what we also got in this episode, which I thought was about time, because we from the first couple of episodes, you knew that we were going to kind of touch these names of these houses that we already had familiarity with from Game of Thrones, and it sure enough, we got our first Lannister. And this is Jason Lannister. He is actually played by the actor Jefferson Hall. I'm not really familiar with too much of his work, but that is a new character that we were introduced to this week. Now, when you first saw Jason Lannister, he was trying to pursue young Rhaenyra, in making his or shooting his shot, should I say, at taking her hand in marriage. And Ray wasn't too receptive to that, was she, Tyrone? Like, what was like? She kind of got a little pissed off, if I recall. I mean, what did you take about that scene?
Yeah, it rang very Lannister. Very cocky, very arrogant and stuff. Which is somebody with the mind, with the kind of frame of mind of Rhaenyra, and somebody who is more independent is not going to respond very well to that. So a bad move, Mr. Lannister. Sorry about that. But then also she, seemed to pick up that this might have been a little bit of collusion, royal collusion to try and strengthen the household and all that political reasoning for coupling and for marriage that they talk about. So, she's not trying to play that game. But yeah, I mean, it was a very on brand sort of Lannister moment. And I think that, she handled herself with grace. She didn't get too crazy on him in that time. I think she kind of was like, let me not start any drama, but she was just like, okay, you're not getting it. I'm out of here. Sorry. Shot missed. I'm gonna go over here now. So yeah, sorry, Mr. Lannister. You didn't got it like you think you did.
Nah, indeed. Now we continue through this story, and I thought this week they did a pretty good job of introducing us to, I think, what we'll see later as the show develops as the true players, uh, going forward within this story. The Lannister house, we know, is going to play a significant role in the future of the kingdom. We have also been introduced to House Baratheon, and it looks like the Valyrians are really starting to cement themselves as real players to the throne, because there was a suggestion within the show that Rhaenyra wed Corlys Valerion's son. What is his name? His name is Laenor, I believe.
Yeah.
That's his name. And so to that point, we are introduced to a aged version of Laenor. Now, Tyrone, excuse me, I have a little bit of a problem with this time lapse, right?
Mhm.
We went 3 years in 1 week. Now, this was Laenor 3 years ago, supposedly. Now, I don't know, Tyrone. I'm not a facial recognition artist or anybody like that, but I would dare say that this gentleman does not look like he's 3 years from this young man in this photo. Um, I don't know. Is it me?
I mean, that kid looks like he might be 10 years old. And yeah, Lenore's over there looking, 25 and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't remember clearly being 10 years old. I don't remember all of it, but I do remember on my 11th birthday, I still looked like a kid. I didn't just like go into my bedroom and then come out a fully grown man, the next morning, so there. This is the problem with these kinds of time jumps. It's like if you pay enough attention and you pick up on things like this, you're like, wait a minute, who is this guy? Because I thought it was a completely different character that we just hadn't met yet. And when we actually see him, it's just a guy that here's a new guy to know and to care about. But yeah, I was like, oh, that was that kid. And yeah, interesting. Just again, another thing where you're like, all right, I know we're suspending our disbelief and stuff, but y'all gotta give us something.
Give us something, right? Now, Minnie, you were we before the show we were talking, and you said that one thing about that bothers you about House of Dragons is the lack of dragons. You want more dragons. One per episode is not good enough for you unless the dragon is killing shit and eating shit. Like that
Facts.
was these were your if it's not doing something, I don't want to see it. I need some battling, right? That's where we're at.
Facts. Facts.
So what we saw was the introduction of a brand new dragon this episode. And it was written by what some may say is not a full Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
We have Laenor riding his own dragon, a dragon by the name of Sea Smoke. Now, Tyrone, we had a conversation about this too, about the name in
Mm-hmm.
itself. We have Cyrax thus far,
Mm-hmm.
and we have Caraxes. But then we go over to House Valerion, and they have the cool names. Sea Smoke.
Sea
Like,
Smoke. It's my dragon, Sea Smoke.
Dragon, Sea Smoke. But I don't know, Minnie. When you saw Sea Smoke hit the screen and light up, the crab feeders men, and it toss some men in the air and do some things. Did you feel like you finally got what you were looking for?
Well, first of all, when that happened, damn near a tear dropped in my eye. It was finally all I hoped for and all I wanted. Second of all, I will say the last time I heard the name Sea Smoke was a Crip from Long Beach. So that was weird to me. I was like, what's going on? I knew there was game banging in this series somewhere. But yeah, but it was beautiful, man. It was oh Lord, all the dragon scenes were gorgeous. When the man got stomped out, it was just my heart like got bigger, like if it was like what's it called? The Grinch. Like my heart just got bigger 5 times and shit. It was beautiful.
Now, also in this episode, we were introduced to Corlys Valerion's younger brother. And I think his name is Baymond or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. But there were some moments of contention between the brothers. It seems as though the younger brother didn't have the most
Tact.
yeah,
Yeah.
that, and also he didn't seem as though he had the same encouragement that Corliss had in regards to Damon. He was very much
Right.
against Damon leading and felt like that, it was just everything was just going to be a disaster. And it was very interesting to see how Corliss reacted to that and kind of reprimanded his brother in front of everybody, like, hold up, you're
Hmm.
not going to be doing any mutiny out here. We're not doing that. Which I also believe speaks a lot to Corliss and how he seems like an honorable fellow, even though we saw the last episode that he went and talked to Damon and decided that this was the venture that they should go on to. It seems as though he's been loyal so long and just kind of is at this place where my loyalty is just being rewarded with smacks in the face constantly. And I think he's trying to position himself to not be smacked anymore, if that makes sense. Um, and it's going to be interesting to see how House Valerian moves forward. But Twitter, and Twitter loves to uh, meme anything
Mhm.
Game of Thrones and the House of Dragon lately. So Twitter got a hold of this one again, and I have to say they make a lot. This makes a lot of sense. Um, and this is obviously, if you have not seen the episode, this is it. Go check the episode out, and you'll see why they posted that meme. But I thought that was pretty funny. Um, Another dynamic of this episode that I thought was really, really telling, and I was very disappointed. And me and you talked about this as well, Tyrone. Was we got an introduction to this individual last episode,
Mhm.
right? And we saw at the beginning of the episode some of the things that he was doing to the individuals that were caught on the island. Um, from my understanding in the book, he was a terror. He was definitely a formidable opponent, somebody who you definitely wanted to know more about. And unfortunately, we weren't given that. We weren't given the opportunity to learn his backstory. We weren't given the opportunity to see what caused him to, be in the situation that he was in. Nothing. And I was actually a lot disappointed in the writers for doing this. Did you feel the same way well, before I even get into that, let's just talk about um why they even got into this whole issue, right?
Mhm.
So we know that Corliss has come to the king numerous times in regards to this area,
The stepstones.
the stepping stones, because the stepping stones, position wise, uh, seems to be a strategic point that would help the King's Landing to thrive. And
Yeah.
without it,
Important
it
trade
would
route too.
yeah, the trading route. So it would help them thrive. So without it, it's not going to do as well. But we watched Corliss go to the king numerous times, asking for help and aid in handling the situation, only to be kind of dismissed. Now here we are with him, in league with Daemon Targaryen, trying to retake the stepping stones, but to no avail. They're at an impasse where uh, you like, I'll let you tell it. Why is it so hard? Does it seem for them not to be able to take the stepping stones back, according to the show?
Well, according to the show and the generals on the field, it was so hard to beat the crab feeder at the stepstones because he would just go back into his cave. He and his people would just go back into the caves. So I guess whenever that would happen, the Valerians and the Targaryens would just stand outside and scratch their heads and try to think of ideas. And nobody thought of anything for 3 years because I guess they've been in the stalemate for the entire time. And this crab feeder is a military mastermind because he knows how to, one, go in a cave, and two, look up when he's outside. So if he sees a dragon coming, he goes inside the cave. So those things make you a military genius in this world. Thank you, audience. Thank you. But yeah, no, it's so it was. Yeah, it was interesting. I'm no military strategist, but if my enemy kept insisting on retreating into caves, I would seal their asses right in that mountain, and they would not come back out again. That's how that problem would be solved. We would have been home, 2 years and 364 days ago.
Exactly. I think that would have been definitely handled a lot simpler. Now, Minnie, how did they handle the situation after the impasse? After when they finally decided a plan of action, what was the plan of action that they decided to go with in order to engage the crab feeder and his men?
Well, like I was saying beforehand, I think this House of Dragon is a whole lot of game banging shit. They had came to a conclusion. Well, first of all, like you said beforehand, he pulled ranked on his brother just for over here sidestepping and talking about they homie. So he did that first, and then after that, they were like, "We're gonna need." Like he was saying, he was such a genius to just return to the caves. So we're gonna need something to get him out the caves. And who's gonna be the man to be able to do it? And nobody was saying that they would do it. And your homeboy was like, "Nah, man, I'll go ahead and do this." Damien was like, "I'll do this right here." But my favorite part of that whole situation was when Damien got the letter from his brother and whooped the message's ass. That spoke to my spirit, um, because because
Damn, I hope your mailman is careful when he brings you bills and shit.
listen, because it's like, no, look, listen. If you don't know this, I am part of a little thing called the Petty Society. Pete as they come, I say. So that's just the most petty shit he could have done because he wasn't about not winning the war at that point. He was gonna get some help. He was gonna definitely win. It was about the fact that I want to do this shit on my own, and you out here fucking up my glory. I'm gonna whoop your message's ass, and then I'm gonna go out there and try to do some Rambo shit. And it worked out. It worked out. I gotta give it up to him. He did go out there on some Rambo shit, and it ended up working out. He almost got killed in the process. If it wasn't because his brother's homie showed up, but he almost worked out for him. He did.
Yeah, we got to see a lot in the engagement. We got to see that Corliss can handle himself on the battlefield.
Facts.
He was a terror. He was out there chopping the hell out of people with his Thor hammer. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was interesting to see that after all of the deliberation, all of the strategy, strategizing, this was what they came up with. Like, we'll send our leader in there alone. I mean, practically, unarmed. I mean, he, unarmed himself for a brief moment, and somehow this is going to be what leads the crab feeder to lead his men out and everything like that.
Yeah,
I just
after
thought that
three
was cool
years.
writing.
Yeah,
That
after
was
three
very
years
cool
of
writing.
for 3 years he's been keeping his people in the caves whenever they're in danger. But there's one dude out there that he wants, so he's like, everybody go, everybody just get outside. Don't even worry about it. Go get him. It will be fine. You're like, dude, apparently you've had the upper hand by just waiting. Why would you do this?
Yeah, I thought I thought it was extremely poor writing. In order for them to do this, I mean, they're literally trapped. They would have literally been trapped inside of a mountain. So I don't, you know, this, yeah. As much as I've been raving about this show, this would probably be the one time that I'm just like, okay, don't start. Like before you start getting into these terrible writing sequences, don't do it, because there's still a lot of potential with the show. Damon is definitely a star. There's no question about it. Him coming out of that whole thing covered in blood and dragging a lifeless half of a corpse. I think it was definitely for me what I guess all the men needed to see, that he can be a leader and lead men to victory, and I think that's what he accomplished on that field that day.
But and specifically, I think the whole point of it was that he did it without the king, and that
Right.
his people can stand with him, knowing that he is going to be the one to get stuff done. That was the whole point of this whole thing. Which, in my opinion, if they wanted to write it, they could have saved a bunch of money and a bunch of time, and just like told this story from, like, we could have just heard whispers and rumors of Damon on the battlefield, fighting the crab feeder, and all, and how he turned the tables and stuff like that. We could have gotten just as much out of the situation if we just heard about it, and then he comes in victorious. You know what I mean? Like different things like that are where you want the writers to sit down and be like, okay, how are we going to get the best story told here? And even with something like the dragons, like in Game of Thrones, the dragons had like personalities. They were almost like pets. There was like love. Right now, they're just vehicles and weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we're even missing that angle of, like, really, of the dragons having their own personalities. So I feel like there's just some missed opportunities here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you totally with that. I feel like this. I don't know what the discussion was going into the season. And like you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, saying that did they think this was going to be the only season?
Right.
Because it seems as though they rushed. You could have done a whole season on just the build up to this epic battle between the crab feeder and all of this, but instead you just rushed that, got rid of this crab feeder. Now we have to create a new villain. Like, it's like, what? You're just making your life harder. But again, I just hope that the writers don't start this process of bad writing and just kind of short, just shortening elaborate sequences that you could actually take advantage of. And this was one of those. They definitely dropped the ball on this.
Yeah. Like when you watch Game of Thrones, when you go through the first season of Game of Thrones, you realize that, like, not a lot happens for like 7 or 8 episodes, but each of those episodes, you're just like, it's hard to, like, even just them talking, you're just like, man, these people are talking like, this is crazy. Like, just
Right.
conversations between two people hit so hard in Game of Thrones because it was just like beautifully written. And yeah, like, we didn't have battle scenes. I mean, you had like little stuff here and there, but like almost the entire first season goes by with just intrigue being built, just character development, and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful and it's really well done. But this, it just seems like they're trying to do events. Like, there's like, here's an event, here's an event, here's an event, here's an event, and we're missing a lot of the stuff that really makes us care as we go through.
Yeah, we definitely lost a lot in this insignificant time jump that the writers felt that we needed to have so fast. Again, I can't fathom what was going on in that writing room. Maybe something came up and someone was like, "Hey guys, I know we said we were gonna, but listen, I really got some." So we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think also in this episode, one of the things that they really spotlighted was Rhaenyra and her ascension moving forward. Because one of the things that I noticed is that in this episode, her father has I brought this up to you, Tyrone. I thought when I watched this episode, I was seeing King Viserys realizing his mortality, realizing that he may not have that much longer left, and what people do when they know they're going to die, which is try to right wrongs prior to that moment in time. And that's what I saw him trying to do, and being conflicted, because there's emotion and then there's duty. He's got emotion as far as a father towards his daughter, but a duty to a realm. And that's, I couldn't imagine the type of pressure that one would be under, having to make that decision. And what we saw in this episode was him go through the motions, listen to different individuals, but then come to the conclusion that he made the right decision in naming Rhaenyra his heir. And then, kind of basically telling her, look, whatever everybody else is saying around you, whatever you're hearing or you're thinking, I made the right decision. You are my heir, but it's
Mhm.
going to be interesting to see moving forward if he's able to keep that same energy, or does the pressures from the realm and the duty that he's responsible for cause him to make that decision and to have a change of heart. Many When you see this whole scenario unfolding and you see Rhaenyra as being, because they've already kind of given us an idea that she's a strong, stubborn, strong-willed individual. When you see her development as a character and these 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 instances where um everything around her is trying to say that she shouldn't be, but then everything about her and what they're showing in her character shows that she could be. How does that, like, when you see something like that? How does that dynamic affect you?
That's my favorite character in the whole thing. So
Hmm.
I love the way her arc is going. In my personal opinion, I love that in this episode, especially like from the fact that you kind of seeing who she is. In my opinion, she's gonna end up with the dude who's the knight. And I love the fact that her dad gave her the chance to pick her own husband type of thing. And the way she lit up when he said that, because she kind of like, I think she already liked Buddy. So that's why she lit up. And I like the fact that she actually saw that white big old buck and she could have killed it or had him killed it and acted like it was hers or whatever, which was a majestic whatever. And she let it go. That kind of shows me that she might be fit for a queen because she could have killed it and just ended his life, but she was like, "No, it's too pretty. Let it go." And then the fact that he said on her mom's memory that he was not gonna take back his word, I believe that she's gonna end up being the queen sooner or later.
Yeah, you brought up this white stag, or what?
The White
Tyrone, do you
Heart.
remember what it was actually called?
And they called it the White Heart.
The White Heart.
Yeah.
So this episode was about a second name, right? Uh, Apparently, when a prince comes of age, um they have this event that they have, which you saw, which is like a wild hunt, where it becomes like a festival and they celebrate. There's a celebration for the prince's second naming, and there's this event where they hunt this prized animal. Typically they don't hunt that animal. This animal only comes as a special. It's like, what did you say? It was like a blessing to
It's
show
like an omen kind of thing, like a
an
good omen.
omen. Yeah. So
Hmm.
this is like, typically they just go on a hunt, but someone spotted this,
Mhm.
which spotted this white heart, which made everybody think that it was a good omen or a good blessing that Aegon would be named heir. So the whole episode, they're like basically tracking this white heart stag, in hopes to find it and kill it, to bless the naming of Aegon as the next heir to the throne. um Unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that. They find a stag, but it's not a white heart. And then later in the episode, to your point, we see the white heart stag come and kind of present itself to Rhaenyra, which is the omen. You see that omen being fulfilled in her regards as her being the true heir to the throne. So I thought that was telling as well moving forward with this storyline, because there's a lot going on in such a very little time, and I really hope that I'm honestly scared now, Tyrone, because I really feel like now that they've done this whole 3-year lapse, then they can just take the shit off. They can do whatever they want at this point. Like, so
Mm.
they'll probably, because we know for a fact we're gonna get an older Rhaenyra, we're gonna get older Valyrians and Valyrians and everything like that. So we shouldn't fall in love with these other characters too much, because we might not see them again.
Yeah.
And it looks like they may be going in that direction. And
Yeah.
if they do, ooh, I'm scared. That's what scares me, Tyrone, is that pace, that like it differs a lot from Rings of Power, where it's more slow and
Yeah. They're
deliberate. This is
slowly
just like,
building.
yeah, this is just like give it to me, give it to me. You know?
Yeah, and like we had somebody in the comments say the events are building the storyline quickly and leading up to something big, which I don't doubt it, and I just hope that thing that happens, whatever the thing that happens to close out the first season or the climax of the first season is something that is something that hits hard enough to justify kind of like uh, a little bit less on the front end. I just would have liked some more of that because I really feel like Viserys and Rhaenyra are hitting a sweet spot in in as characters. Like I'm having a good time watching them. I think some of the most interesting stuff that happened in the episode was them two talking. I really enjoyed their dynamic. But like you're saying, Ty, like I'm a little nervous that like the series isn't going to last much longer. Like I feel like it's not going to be too long before we see like another time shift and we're dealing with older characters. I feel like Viserys will be killed or something, or he'll die for whatever reason, and then we just won't have that anymore, and we'll be probably not even done with the first season by then. So
Yeah.
it's but like you were talking about, Minnie, you said Rhaenyra's been your favorite character so far, and I think this was a really strong episode for her. An episode that made her take a jump, and you're like, wow, I want to see where this goes. But how much longer do we get her? Do we get her for the entire first season, or do we have her for another episode? It's a little bit, it's tough, but everything works if you land it, if you do it well. Then it works. You know what I mean? Like if we're all happy at the end of the episode, then it doesn't matter what you do. You did it. You pulled it off. So hopefully, if we do get time jumps and we do get new characters, the people that come in are even more compelling and even more fun to watch. So whatever we missed from that earlier time frame doesn't leave such an empty spot in us, because it is a shame to get to know people only to see them just kind of fade into the darkness.
Yeah, that for sure, man. Because the show has so much potential. Every time I watch these episodes, I'm just seeing so many characters that you could really, really delve into, and I'm not seeing that, and it's really, really scaring me. Because again, we're going off the books, the George R. Martin books, which initially in Game of Thrones had Tyrone going crazy. They were like they were coming from the books, and the storyline was great and everything like that. Um, but it again, man, these writers, um, they take these books and then they dissect them, and then they make it to what they see visually. And right now, whew, I'm just a little scared, man. So I'm just gonna dumb my worries back a little bit, and just kind of wait for next week's episode, and see if we can pick up the pace. Well, slow down the pace, but pick up the uh the the
The intrigue.
the detail and the intrigue surrounding some of these new characters that have been presented. Um, Plus, I'm always looking forward to hearing your George R. Martin hate in regards to all the incest and stuff.
I mean, they were pretty light on it this time. It was nice. It was nice to not have to cringe at a child bride. So that was good. I do wonder, are we still going with the Iron Throne is killing you storyline? Is that still a thing? Because he was all cut up and scraped up, and it was looking pretty dire. Now here we are 3 years later, and like he's got all his fingers, and everything seems to be okay, other than him just getting old and weary. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was just something that was dropped completely, or if it's something that is going to show up, and they're going to have to do something to explain it, or is it George R. Martin's attempt at like metaphorical like foreshadowing? If so, kind of clumsy. But hopefully we get a little bit more knowledge on what that was all about, because to focus on it so heavily in that first episode, and then here we are 3 years later with no consequences, it just seems like something that they just kind of I doubt they forgot about it. I don't think they forgot about it, but I would like to know why it's a thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, he's got a weird mind, and he's always talking about kids and all of that kind of weird pedophilia stuff. And speaking of pedophilia and weird stuff surrounding kids, um, there's been some crazy stuff going on lately, guys.
Mhm.
Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears are in the news, guys. Not for anything good, guys. Anything good. Oh, excuse me. If you have not heard by now, Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears are facing backlash in regards to a um, skit that they decided to do some years ago involving a small child in regards to um, I, I'll just say this, that from what their standpoint was, this was a skit done to bring up pedophilia awareness. Um, but I would say that it just didn't hit the mark in the way that they planned and went terribly wrong. Um, we don't necessarily have the video um, to show, but you can go on because I thought about playing uh,
The censored version.
the censored version, but after thinking about it, I don't even want to play the censored version.
I'm happy that was the conclusion you came
Yeah,
to.
I don't even want to play the censored version because it is very, very disturbing, extremely disturbing. If I'm saying, say if I can say, um, in the video, I'll just give you what is in the video. So in the video, Aries Spears plays a pedophile. Um, Tiffany Haddish plays a mother or aunt or something like that, and has care over a small young boy. In these clips or on the skit, one clip is of Aries Spears sitting on the couch with a newspaper while the little boy sits on the floor playing with a toy in his underwear.
Mhm.
As he plays with the toy in his underwear, Aries Spears is peeking through a newspaper that has cutouts for his eyes. As I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind is playing in the background by R. Kelly.
Mhm.
Um, After that, we have another scene where Aries Spears is called into the bathroom where the young boy is taking a bath. And at that point, um, he's left them alone with the boy and he makes a comment about he was really good friends with old Penn State Sandusky. And if you know that storyline, uh, Sandusky was responsible for touching young men as a coach at the Penn State Nittany Lions. Um, and then he jumps in the tub. The video goes on to just get worse and worse. There's a scene. The next scene is him getting baby oil put on him by the little boy. The little boy has a little a similar newspaper with eyes cut out. You hear the music again. Uh, in essence, this just was a bad look on all fronts, man.
Mhm.
Or just it, Tyrone. I know you had an opportunity. I don't know if you saw the actual video because it is quite triggering. Um, but it was just absolutely disturbing that this would even be something that someone could find humor in. Is it just me,
Mhm.
or I mean, like, am I overreacting here?
No, definitely not overreacting. Without a doubt, there's the fact this shouldn't have gotten past the idea stage. You know what I mean? As they were sitting down saying, "Hey, I got an idea for a sketch." As soon as they were like, "Yeah, it's about pedophiles and it's going to star a couple kids," it should have been like, "Oop, nope, we're going to go ahead and stop that right there." Like that's just there's no right way to do this. The right way to do it
Yep.
is to not do it. Don't involve kids in this kind of stuff. If you insist on making jokes out of pedophilia, which a lot of people do, uh, keep the kids out of it at the very least. Also, just as a comedian and as somebody who enjoys humor, I would say just stay away from pedophilia altogether. It's one of the most disgusting things that we can deal with in our society. So let's just not. Just a free tip there. But yeah, Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears made so many bad judgment calls here, so many, and this was supposedly a couple kids who belonged to a woman with whom Tiffany Haddish had like a friendship and a relationship with, and so there was a level of trust involved. I mean, this sketch, the whole thing was like, I guess, watch you leave your kids with, which ironically, ended up, that ended up being a lesson for this mother who left her kids with somebody she thought she trusted, and they ended up in this situation.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so now they are dealing with the consequences of this. There's a lawsuit. It's they're talking about people are talking about getting police involved and stuff, and this is the bed that they made. So that they're going to have to suffer the consequences for that. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This isn't oh, I made a mistake. Like this wasn't just a mistake. This was abuse. You abused people.
Yo, Tyrone, I'm glad you brought up the backstory of her knowing, because I've seen a lot of comments from people that want to just totally just put all the onus on Aries Spears, and a lot of people have questioned, like, I don't see what Tiffany Haddish did wrong. Well, you have some insight on what she actually did wrong. Could you tell the people who was actually producing all this?
Yeah, Tiffany Haddish was involved behind the scenes. Like I said, she she was the reason that the kids were there. That was a relationship that was that was previously established, and one that was thought to be trustworthy. I think she had a part in the sketch, which even still whether or not she was in the sketch, she was involved with it, and on many levels from the beginning to the end. Did not do anything to stop it, did not do anything to make sure these kids were protected, uploaded the video to Funny or Die as a user submission. So, they, at the end of it, they watched it. They said, great, let's put this on the internet. They did. They went and uploaded video to Funny or Die. In 2018, Funny or Die found the video, took it down because they thought it was disgusting. And, here we are. So I get that people like Tiffany Haddish. I liked Tiffany Haddish. I thought if somebody was like, hey, what do you think of Tiffany Haddish? I was always like, yeah, she seems like a good person. She likes to help, up and coming comics. That's great. She's I'm happy for her in her career and stuff. But then, at this point, you just have to be like, hey, I was somebody who had Tiffany Haddish's back. I was somebody who was a fan of Tiffany Haddish. But now, she made these choices, and it wasn't just Aries Spears. Nobody likes Aries Spears. I don't even think Aries Spears like Aries Spears. So like, he's not going to get a lot of support, but like, it's, we can't just, I know it hurts when we see people we like do stuff like this, and we assume like there has to be some other reason, there has to be something else going on, because I just can't believe this person that I respect, this person that I love and I care about would do something like this. Sometimes they do, and I'm sorry, but it's just like that. So, Tiffany Haddish is probably going to have to face some consequences herself.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And just just to clarify, you can like somebody, it doesn't make them a good person.
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
some people like Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah, and yeah, no, and again, this wasn't just like this isn't just I had a lapse, a mistake, and this and that. There's plenty of time where they could have been like, ooh, this doesn't feel right. Something about this, it doesn't feel right. Again, shouldn't have gotten past the idea phase, but they didn't, and they kept with it. And
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I mean, they knew it existed. You know what I mean? Like, they're not, when you start to hear people say sorry and regret and stuff like that. Well, you're sorry that you got caught. You know what I mean? Like, you knew this shit existed. Y'all knew you made this. And now that we're hearing about it, now you're starting to be sorry or whatever. Except not Aries Spears. He's like, we're getting shaken down. It's like, you need to go sit down somewhere. But yeah, sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, not my bad. Now, Minnie, quick question: can Tiffany Haddish, can she bounce back from this, or is this just is this one of those situations that this is one of those things that could end your career and there's just no coming back from?
I don't think that these days there's that many things that can keep you from having a career. You can see people like 6ix9ine still has a career. Whether we don't send to him in America is one thing, but he can definitely go to Europe and sell out and make millions of dollars in shows. So there's always gonna be somebody who's gonna like you, just as much. It might not be as many as before, but there's always gonna be somebody who's not gonna put weight into a lot of things in your life. They just care about whatever art you're doing at the time. Will she ever get the support that she got before? That's another question. I think right now everybody's just putting their hands off of it, and for the time being. So all the big names that were supporting her either are denouncing the fact that they homies, or they're just not touching the subject at all. So it'll be interesting to see years from now what the fall down is. Is she still supported by those big names in comedy, or are they still like, oh no, we're not touching that? Because it is it's a big. This ain't no little thing. You know what I'm saying? This is a big thing. This is a big deal. So especially in the black community, like we don't play that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not to say that white people play that, but I'm just saying like we have this thing about pedophilia. Like we on something, we find out something like that, we gonna kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there with us. Like we take that to a whole another level. So the black community, comedy wise, I don't know if it's ever gonna be the same for her because them OGs ain't gonna play it.
You're absolutely correct on that, but I think that pedophilia is kind of is like all across the board. I don't think it. I mean, like culturally, yes, we are very serious about it, and you can be ostracized from the black community. Period. Like
That's what I'm saying.
shunned, and you can't you can't come around. No, not like
You
that.
feel
But I
me?
think that is a. I want to say that it is almost across the board. With people when it comes to kids, that is the
White
one
people,
thing.
white
That is
people
the
love
one
Steven
thing that
Tyler.
I think there's a consistent theme regarding kids. Like you mess with kids, mm-mm. Like
I don't
everybody's like
know.
throw the book at them, throw the book at them. Like nobody's over here like at least I haven't heard anybody that is over here like the pedophiles need to be they need to you need to be less
No, I'm
on them.
saying what I'm saying is other people are more likely to forgive and forget when it comes to that stuff. Steven Tyler still got a career. People still love Elvis. All that kinds of shit. It was in our culture, it's just some like, oh, you did that, oh, get the fuck about. Like we don't play that. Like we just literally that's the cutoff point. We don't play that. Like we don't. That even up to right now, think about it. R. Kelly been in for however long he been in, and even right now, the people who love that's all right. We heard for interviews over years and years and years and years of these people saying that's their favorite artist, or that's the baddest of all time, or he the GOAT, and all that. And right now, you ask them, and they don't even touch it. They don't even know what to say because they don't. They know for a fact when it comes to us, you say that if you want to, there's gonna be a lot of backlash coming because we don't play that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And especially when we're talking about OG comics. And when I say OG comics, I'm talking about black culture. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Minority culture when it comes to comedy. Like, think about all the OGs. Which one's gonna play that?
Mm, yeah,
You
you got
know,
a point.
Dave Chappelle talks about it, but he ain't never did no skit with no boy in no bathtub.
That's true. That is true. It's gonna be. We got to keep our eyes on this story and see how it unfolds. And we'll once we know the outcome, we'll come back and talk about this topic again because I don't see this just going away. Because it is definitely on the front of everybody's mind who's seen that video. And I've seen both versions, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, I I would like I said I was conflicted because at first I wanted to show the video only because I feel like when you see the video, like without the filters, it just makes it so much. You're like, wow, you
Mm.
guys really know. Like that's when you see it without the filters, you're like, really nobody in there had sense
Yeah,
enough to know this was
yeah,
wrong. Like
yeah.
nobody.
Not
There
even
was
lighting. Nobody in lighting was like, hey, bro, come on now. Like, chill out.
it
Yeah.
was bad. Yeah, it was bad. So, but yeah, we'll definitely come back to that story whenever
Yeah.
we find out what the end situation that's going to be.
Yeah. And just in the meantime, pedophilia is not funny. It's not even worth messing with. Like as a
At
joke. Like
all.
yeah, just move. There's so many other things you could be joking about. There's so many other people you could be talking about. Like, don't, and if you absolutely must, don't get near a kid. Don't even be in the same room.
Hey, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Like that, like what was that? American Dad? Was that the animated cartoon that teased that pedophile across across? Was that American
Oh,
Dad?
Family Guy.
A Family
Oh,
Guy.
you talking about
Family
do
Guy.
that
Yeah,
whistle when
Guy
talk?
yeah,
that always like,
Herbert.
oh,
Yeah,
you want to come over and play? That guy. Yeah,
yeah.
him. Yeah. So that like, and that even felt a little like it was like cringy. And
Yeah.
that's animated, and that's a cartoon. So yeah, they should have known better. But hey. Um, Now we are into the last part of our show, guys, and we are also into football season. It is fresh upon us, and we
Woo!
are blessed to have our own sportscaster coming through to touch on the sports. So without further ado, let us get into
Ooh, here's your chance, be a man, take my hand, understand. I don't want no minute man.
Yeah.
I was confused for a second. I was like, that hurt my feelings, but then I realized what the name of the show was. Damn it! Good shit though. I didn't for y'all. This is live. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming at all.
I knew you'd love it. I knew
I
you'd love it.
I like the jokes. I like the jokes, boss. I like the jokes, boss. This is a minute of your time in sports. And I have this week, we're going to do NFL. I know there's other things going on in sports. Right now, we're going to do NFL. I'm just going to go over the recap of what the first week of NFL go is going to look like. Thank you, NFL, for bringing football back. Now, on Thursday, we got Buffalo versus LA. I'm going with LA. On Sunday, first game, we got New Orleans versus Atlanta. I'm going with New Orleans. Next game, we got Cleveland versus Carolina. I'm going with Cleveland. Next game after that, we got San Francisco over Chi City. I'm going with Chi City for the upset. My first upset of the season will be Chi. Philadelphia versus Cincinnati. I'm going with the Bengals. They did too good last year, not to repeat. Now we got Indiana versus Houston. I'm going Indy. Yep, I said it. I'm going Indy. After that, we got New England versus Miami. Of course, you've seen Tyreek Hill in Miami. Of course, I'm going to go Miami. So we got Miami. We got Baltimore versus the New York Jets. And I'm going with Baltimore. Sorry, Jets. I know you're trying to do something with your life, but it ain't going to happen. After this, we got Tyrone's beautiful Jags versus the Washington. I can't remember what
Commanders.
the hell the name.
The Commanders.
Look, listen, whatever the hell your name is, you still gonna be the Jags. Sorry, Tyrone. Next we got the New York Giants versus the Tennessee Titans. I'm going New York Giants for the first time in my life. I'm rooting for a New York team. Go ahead and get it for me, my boy. I need that money. We got KC. Okay, we got KC versus Arizona the next game. I'm going KC. My homeboy gonna do it once again. Then, of course, we got Las Vegas versus our very hated rival, the LA Chargers. I can't stand you. We're going to stomp you in your own house. After that, we got the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota. We going with Minnesota because Aaron Rodgers, I don't like your face. I'm just going to say that. Then after that, we got Tampa Bay versus Dallas. And my boy, my brother Tim, your favorite team is Dallas, but y'all about to get your ass whooped at home by the one and only Tom Brady. And we'll go all the way to the next Thursday, which is Denver versus Seattle. And I'm going with Denver because their defense is about that time. Also, Lizzo, they heavy set. Their defense is heavy set. So I'm going with Denver. Now, for y'all, I would like to tell me, I know, Tyrone, your team is the Jags. I don't happen to know what your team is there, Bad Ty. What is your favorite team?
the New York Jets.
Oh,
Yeah,
the New York Jets. Okay.
yeah.
So
I'm a diehard Jets fan.
my apologies. So that has been a minute in sports. Thank y'all. Next week, we're gonna get some other shit.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, here's your chance, be a man, take my hand, understand. I don't want no minute man.
And that wraps up the segment for this week. We definitely will be back next week, again talking about House of the Dragon. We also have some other shows on the docket that we have to let you guys know about on our must watch TV portion of the show. And as usual, of course, House of the Dragon is at the top of the list. We also have Rings of Power, which is definitely up there to battle House of the Dragon moving forward. Galadriel, and she's
Arendor.
yeah, it's a lot of
I'm
it's
with it.
got Elrond. We got a lot of little familiar names going on the Rings of Power. We also have one of my favorites, C, which I have been telling the world to go and check out,
Hmm.
and I will continue to scream it from the top of the mountain. Please go watch C. If you are a Jason Momoa fan, then
My
you will
boy.
be pleasantly pleased and surprised at his performance throughout this show. It is a very well written show. The quality, the production quality is top notch. Apple TV is a very good platform for movies and TV shows. So I would suggest you go check that out. We do also have something on the horizon coming up later this month, an Andor, which will be joining us, I think, in 2 weeks, if I'm correct.
I think
Tyrone,
it's the 26th,
26.
right?
Yeah, 26. So we should be
Fire.
tapping into that very soon and see what we have to offer that. And then of course Tyrone's favorite show in all of TV land, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Yeah.
Those are the shows that I have on my list of must-watch TV this week. Any other things that you would suggest to the viewers, Minnie?
Oh yeah. If you have Prime Video, go see Lil Baby. If you like Lil Baby as a musician, go see his I
Documentary.
guess documentary. It's great. I loved it. It was awesome, but it's probably gonna lead to a Rico case. But yeah, go ahead and watch that.
Okay.
Yeah, that part.
Uh, all right then. Tyrone, anything on your television that people might want to take a peek at?
I just want to give you your due for recommending C and recommending Evil. Both of those shows are very fun to watch. C, I
It
think,
was
takes
good.
the cake. Guys, great world building, great storytelling. Everybody's acting their asses off. So yeah, Ty's not wrong. Go check out C.
All right. Well,
Okay.
that will wrap up
Okay.
our segment of Must Watch TV, and that will wrap up the show, guys. Anything on the way out? Anything you guys got coming up on the horizon?
We'll catch us here next week, 6:30, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for New Blurred Order. You know what it is.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out to Longwood, City of Longwood tomorrow. I do a show for you and the mayor. Yes, the City of Longwood gets a special hour from Minnie tomorrow. I hope y'all ready. I know they told me to keep it player and not say a couple cuss words, so I only got two for you. Okay, so we're gonna count them when we get there. So tomorrow, City of Longwood.
Man, let's give a big round of
All
applause
right,
for
all
that,
right.
man. Congratulations to you, Minnie. You performing
I
before the
appreciate it.
mayor. That's
Yeah, in a city
big
that I got
news.
arrested plenty of times.
Oh man. Well, again, this wraps up our show. I want to give a special shout out to Holly Noon, who wasn't able to join us this week. But we will see her again with us next week. I also would like to give a special shout out to a pod called TBD. Also to my brothers and my sisters over at the New Blurred Order. Remember, come follow us every Saturday at 10 a.m. sharp, because we delve into all things Marvel and all things comic book, all things fantasy. So come check us out. Also, big shout out to a financial griot, neighborhood finance guy, our homegirl ATL over there. Also, Patrice. We want to shout out we just want to shout out everybody that comes through and supports and shows us love, and all those who don't. If you are following us on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button for to get all of our notifications on our videos when we go live. And if you are following us on Facebook or not following us on Facebook, come check us out at the Multiverse fan page or group page. We still have room on the bus. Come join us. And if that is it, guys, on behalf of myself, on behalf of Tyrone Thornhill, Mini Baby Grogu, and Holly Noon, we'd love to thank everybody for joining us, everybody for all of your support. We are the Multiverse. Multiverse podcast. And guess what? We're out.